So the classic 4-way, 8-way joystick dilemma. So I'm going to break this down so you guys can understand it. Now the most important thing that a arcade that's modded does is it allows you to play all the games. However, there's one big hurdle, and that hurdle is the 4-way, 8-way joystick dilemma. Now I'll show you guys a cool little trick on how to get it done easily, but let me explain the 4-way, 8-way joystick. So these are all 8-way right here, right? These two were taken out of an arcade 1-up, and this is a very good quality EG Starts zero delay joystick. I like this very much. These two cannot be converted just yet, but I'll show you how that works. So let me explain the 8-way. Right now, that all three of these are 8-way, and a lot of the newer games where you want to jump at angles, like Mortal Kombat, you want to jump up, down, Marvel vs. Capcom, all those kinds of games, 1942, where you're going at angles, you want an 8-way joystick, as opposed to like Pac-Man, where it's just up, down, left, and right. So what do I mean by that? So when I hit this joystick, it's hitting one of the pins up here and triggering whether it's going to go up, down, left, or right. However, an 8-way joystick is, and this is the bottom of the joystick, by the way. So an 8-way joystick will represent as eight specific ways you could move in a specific direction. For example, that direction would be north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, and northwest. Okay? A 4-way joystick just goes north, east, south, and west. So if I'm playing Pac-Man or Donkey Kong or one of the classics, and I'm moving in a direction and I want to move up, if I'm moving in this direction and I want to move up real quick, I'll hit the joystick up. And as I'm going left, I want to move up real quick, and boom, I hit up. But it's registering as, what is that, northwest? So it's registering as these two buttons. So it'll decide either north or west, because the games decide only to move 4 directions. So it'll get confused, and it could continue in the path, and then you get killed or, eaten by Blinky or one of the Pac-Man characters. So you don't want that. You want a 4-way joystick for some of the classics. You want to also be able to go back and forth, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So this right here is the restrictor gate. That's what this is. I like this one better because this kind of shows you the inside by having that contrast of the yellow, but more or less they're 100% identical. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to take this restrictor gate off, okay, and you have something like this. So what you want to do is you want to cut off the corners. So we don't have 8-way anymore. We have a 4-way joystick. So in order to do that, this yellow part, I'm going to push up and twist that yellow part simultaneously. So as I push up, so it clicked into place in those 2 little notches. So now I have a diamond shape on the inside. It's cutting off the 4 corners. So in order to do this, you would have to take this restrictor gate off first. Now, you have 4 little notches right there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You want to push them all towards the center, but you don't want to do it from the top. You want to do it from the sides like this, and simultaneously push up to pull it out. So that would look like that. So now that I have it off, I won't be using this one. This is clear, so I'm going to be doing the same thing. This inner part of the circle, I'm going to push up, because right now it's a square. I'm going to push up and twist. So now it's a little diamond shape. Now you could go ahead and put this back. It doesn't matter which way you put it back, because it is pretty symmetrical, and it will go right back into place. Now this is a 4-way joystick. It's blocking off all the corners, so you can only move up, right, down, and left. That's your 4-way joystick. Now the problem is, if you're playing many games and you're jumping from Pac-Man to Street Fighter, that's a 4-way game to an 8-way game. You don't want to disassemble the entire control board, get to the bottom of this, and switch this. So I'll show you a cool little trick. Now, so if I have like one of the vertical screen mods that we typically put in some of these arcades, I just leave it at 4-way, because 99.9% of those games are all 4-way. They're all the old school classics, the Pac-Mans, the Donkey Kongs, the Burger Times. That's what they play. They use 4-way joysticks. However, if you have all those games with the Mortal Kombats and the Street Fighters mixed with the Pac-Mans and the vertical screen games, you would want something that could go back and forth easily. And I will show you exactly how that's done. It's actually very simple and pretty cool. But yeah, I'll show you guys a little neat trick and on what I use. It's a pretty cool device, and we'll go from there. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put this back to 8-way, because this is going on an 8-way arcade. And I will show you guys how to easily do it by the push of a button and have this spin around. So stay tuned. Okay, so now that we've discussed the 4-way, 8-way dilemma, And the way it works, I'm gonna go ahead and put these arcade 1-up joysticks to the side. Now I'm in the middle of modding an arcade currently, and I want this to have a special feature. That special feature is this right here. It's the GRS 4 to 8-way restrictor. It is such a wonderful product. It's made by Glenn and the GRS team. They do wonderful work on so many little cool gadgets for the arcade industry. And I purchased this on Amazon, but you could also purchase it directly from their website. So this is what it looks like when you get it. So there's two different variations. One if you want to add to a pre-existing one, but since this is not a pre-existing one, I just have to purchase the entire unit. Okay, so this is what it comes with, and I will show you how it works. It's super easy to install. All you have to do is connect it via this plug. So let me explain to you what it does first of all. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and remove the pre-existing restrictor gate. These are always a pain in the butt to take off, but you got to take them off all at the same time. Oh, there it goes fine. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little motorized restrictor gate, and I'm going to put it right here. Doesn't matter which way you put it, and plug it in just like that. Now when I plug this in, okay, this goes into here, okay, this plugs into this, and then this, and I will show you guys exactly how it works, right? This plugs into any USB slot, all right, and it takes the power from the USB and this little motorized thing with the push of a button, automatically twists it from 4-way to 8-way. Right now I believe it is a 4-way currently, and if I push this button once it's connected, it's going to magically, not magically, but I guess it will turn and make it an 8-way. I'll show you guys how to connect it. It's super easy, and it's actually very versatile. So it's a very cool product, and I'll show you how to connect it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so once you have this set up, or the restrictor gate on, you want to take it, and over here you have 4 different slots, and that's labeled A, B, C, and D. Right, so you want to take this, and you want to plug it right here into these 3 pins, just like that, okay, into the A slot. Then you want to take this long cable that it comes with, the ends look like this, it will plug into the A slot, right there, and the other end will plug in to the button. Alright, so now that's plugged in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, where it gets its power from, and plug this micro USB in just like that, and then this end will plug in into the Raspberry Pi for power. So every time I push the button, it should be motorized and this should spin. As a matter of fact, I have a power bank. I'll use this power bank right here. So this should work. So see how that lit up? So this end would normally plug into the Raspberry Pi or any USB slot. It doesn't matter, just for power. And that other end plugs right there. This plugs from here to the joystick, and then the restrictor gate plugs in right there. Okay, so right now it's red, which probably means it's 4-way or 8-way, I'm not sure. So once I do that, it becomes blue. So you see this button? If I push this side, look what happens to the little motor. It turns it just enough for it to cut off the edges from 4-way and back to 8-way. It's such a cool feature, and it makes the games, makes the arcade mods so versatile. So you could play virtually every game now that requires a joystick without having any of those other issues. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in an arcade, and I'll show you guys the exact final product, and we'll go from there, guys. So thanks. So I just showed you guys how to mod this in a recent video. This was all done. I have an extra slot for a button right here, and I put that 4-way, 8-way button switch here. It's connected to player 1, the restrictor gate, the motorized restrictor gate, and then the wire goes from there, and then that plugs into the Raspberry Pi, and that's where it gets its power from. So now if I'm playing a game like Ms. Pac-Man, and I have 8-way controls, and I'm trying to go left and I try to go up, sometimes it doesn't work properly because it's registering as, it doesn't know whether it's going left or up because I'm hitting a corner. So sometimes it's really hard to hit corners. So what I do is I just push this button, And then this 8-way becomes a 4-way. And then now this is much more desirable on how I could play. So now it's easy to play these games. So this has been one of the biggest issues with a lot of mods, is that you really can't play all the games because playing Pac-Man on an 8-way joystick isn't what it's meant to do. But now you could go back and forth by pushing one button and not having to take all this off just to take out the restrictor gate, twist it, put it back on, and then reassemble the full control deck. So you don't want that. But yeah, so which is it's really cool. Right now you could even hear it. It's only 4 ways, but if I push this, red is 8-way. You could hear all 8 corners. You could feel it too. So it is really cool. So if you want to jump back and forth depending on the game that you're playing, whether it's 4-way or 8-way, I think it's a very, very cool problem solver. So shout out to them for making that. It is a wonderful product. I highly recommend it.